Jaelan Phillips, easily Howie Roseman's best move this off season, this calendar year, this regular season. Was a good job, boy. Phillips out of PA back. It's been a long week. Obviously, bye and um, Sixers dropping a few. So we'll talk some Sixers on a different point in time. But we're gonna talk some Jalen Hurts. We're gonna talk some AJ Brown. We're gonna talk some Devonta Smith. We're gonna talk Nick Sirianni, Kevin Patullo, decision making, late game decision making. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about some Jordan Love. But let's start with the man of the hour, one Jaelan Phillips, who, once again, I want to reiterate this, grew up in California, played for the University of Miami, Florida Hurricanes, played professional football in Miami, Florida, goes to Philadelphia, the Northeast, where it gets cold. First day of practice, said it was the best day of his life. And he has kids. Said it was the best day of his life. Practice. No game. No fans. 20 minutes in the Eagles practice. Best day of his life. And he obviously, showed out. Led all Eagles players. Edge rushers. 52 snaps. Can I interest you? 7 pressures. 6 tackles. Including a key TFL. 2 quarterback hits. Fumble recovery. Jaelan Phillips, want to reiterate this again. Jaelan Phillips, best move Howie Roseman has made this calendar year. This makes up for Josh Uche, Aziz Ojulari, which we kind of see those are pretty much misses now. At this point, Josh Uche pretty much just played special teams yesterday. Obviously, Jaelan Phillips comes in, makes that instant impact on the edge Eagles have been searching for all season with that Nolan Smith injury. Nolan Smith came back yesterday. He looked pretty good himself. Obviously, Nakobe Dean chipped in as well. We'll talk about him at a later point because he had arguably his best game of his career. But Jaelan Phillips, most impactful player yesterday in Green Bay, Lambeau Field, Eagles victory. Now, I was told that, well, first off, I heard my score prediction, 31-20. Obviously, I think most people thought it was going to be up and down the field. After that first quarter, I was kind of like, you kind of get a feel. People that watch the game, people who play the game, obviously, you get a feel for how the game's going to go. And after that first quarter, I was like, bro, we might be in for one because Hurts, the biggest drive, the best drive the Eagles had, Hurts, QB power, runs, knee lands on the defender that tackled him. I think, and then Edgerrin Cooper comes in there, peanut punch, gets it out. Unfortunate play because Hurts is down, but his knee is on the defender, so he's not down. Cooper knocks it out. Hurts' third turnover. That's now 2 fumbles lost, 1 pick on the season. Nevertheless, still 3 turnovers through week 10. But man, we're not worried. And once again, like unlucky play there. But shout out Edgerrin Cooper, and Green Bay's defense. Credit. I'm gonna give credit to Green Bay's defense because they played heck of a game. Gary Parsons, Devontae Wyatt. I think the Packers had won. Devontae Wyatt gets game ball. That's just me. Impact he had running game, pressure. I don't think people realize how fast people like Devontae Wyatt and Jordan Davis are to be that big and to still be kind of cashing up to Jalen Hurts on the sideline. That, bro. Shout out to Devontae Wyatt. He played a nice game. Evan Williams, aside from getting absolutely mossed by Devonta Smith on that tud, Evan Williams had a solid game. I'm not going to say that the corners played exceptional because they didn't. But I will say is, I was shouting because they didn't get like burnt, and I think that's more their defensive coordinator for Green Bay. I'm forgetting his name. Not putting them in positions. Green Bay playing as minimal man coverage as possible because we know AJ Brown. Like we said, if AJ Brown is 1-on-1 versus Keyshawn Nixon and Corey Ballantyne, it's over. Now, we'll get to that last throw because that was 1-on-1, man on man. We'll get to that last throw. But nevertheless, Green Bay, they were playing off of AJ 10 yards deep. And that's what they do to great receivers. They give them that respect. They were doubling AJ most of the game. And that led to that Devonta touchdown. If y'all notice, AJ took out the safety. He was kind of harping on AJ that entire time. Pretty sure it was McKinney. Came down on AJ's dig route. Leaves Devonta that deep go post. One-on-one with the safety, Evan Williams. Like, once again, Devonta Smith, AJ Brown, one-on-one. It's over. It's done. Hurts recognized safety's coming to help on AJ. Hey, let me sail this over real quick. Tud, 37 yards, clutch time TD. Once again, that's my guy, Jalen Hurts. Outside of Patrick Mahomes, there's no other quarterback statistically that is better in clutch time than one Jalen Hurts. But nevertheless, this was a defensive battle, heck of a defensive battle. And we heard shout out Jalen Phillips. Nakobe Dean had one of his best games, easily of the season, arguably of his career. Now this dude, friend of one, and we'll shout out Nakobe because he's one of the first supporters. Philly Talk with PA, one of the first friends of the show. Nakobe Dean, 7 tackles, sack, strip, fumble on Jordan Love, Mr. Roller Coaster, 1 TFL, couple QB hits in there as well. He was all over the field today. Once again, when him and Jordan Davis are on the field, that Georgia connection, it's over. It's done. Nakobe Dean, easily best game this season, arguably one of the best in his career. Even though it might not say he had like 20 tackles or something, Nakobe Dean showed why he's a very key piece to this Eagles defense. Vic Fangio's scheme, 17. Shout out to you. He showed up in the big moment. We see Jaelan Hunt showed up, 5 tackles, sack, couple key TFLs. We saw him and Jalen Phillips combine on that last play. And hey, shout out Moro Jomo. He's this year's Milton Williams. For people who are, hopping on the train late, we knew Moro Jomo was next up. But hey, calls out the play. Hey, now when I was watching it and I see Love on the third and whatever it was, hit it to, I think it was Musgrave, middle of the field. Blankenship tackles him about a yard short. As soon as I saw them run up in the shotgun, not Love get under center. As soon as I saw them line up in shotgun, I'm like, oh, it's an inside zone to Josh Jacobs. I'm saying that. And my friends who are watching the game with me, they can attest to it. Shout out Bowen. But as soon as I saw Jordan Love line up in shotgun, I was like, they're running the ball to Josh Jacobs. Moro Jomo, he recognized it, obviously, because if I see it, the guys that get paid millions to play the game, they saw it. Moro Jomo calls it out, inside zone. They're running this, they're running that. And Josh Jacobs even said after the game, like, yeah, we heard them. And I was debating, do I cut it back and try to go left? But Jaelan Hunt held contained. If you watch the tape, it was either Jaelan Hunt or whoever was on that side held contained. So Jaelan Hunt would have been there. Might have been Brandon Graham. Hey, another friend of the show. Shout out BG. He had that one. He blew up the running play. I think the wide receiver screen. That veteran knowledge. Bringing that back to that Eagles D-line group. Shout out BG. Once again, friend of the show. He played in more limited snaps because he's also kind of getting back into it. The second game, but nevertheless, another outstanding performance by the defensive line. Defense as a whole. Now, people like most of the casual fans were like, "This game was terrible. Like my fantasy team is cooked." Like we people can say what they want to say, but I'm looking at this game, I'm looking at this team, both sides of um. Hey, in my opinion, it was a game of the year because it showed me when it matters most whose defense is going to show up, whose running game is going to succeed when it matters most. We saw that with Saquon, they kept going. Jacobs did run it pretty well himself. Um, but we saw when it comes down to big moments, who's gonna make the play? And that's what it's all. It's not just me. That's not my philosophy. Shannon Sharp, Jeff Saturday, Peyton Manning, Troy Aikman, guys that played the game. That's who I listen to. Guys who are Hall of Famers at a high level. That's who I listen to. So when they say what really matters is when Troy Aikman goes on the broadcast last night and he says, Jordan Love in another big moment. See, this is what we're looking for. He didn't get it done. Well, Jalen Hurts yet again has gone into an opponent's building and gotten the win. See and people, because I was debating with a friend over the weekend about like, well, there's a lot of other stuff that goes into it. You have the schemes, and they're not in the same position. I just find it funny that we have all these other arguments, but the greatest players that ever played the game are saying what I'm saying, which is okay. All that. When it came down to it, who made the play? Who made the throw? Who made the tackle? Who made the block? Who missed the block? Fred Johnson. Hopefully Lane Johnson's good. Fred Johnson played pretty well. He missed the key block on a hole. Saquon could have potentially taken 15 yards. Fred Johnson, he missed his assignment. And I think Edgerrin Cooper stuffed Saquon in the backfield. Or it might have been an Inagbare. Packers outside of the Eagles. Packers easily up there with the Broncos as well. Best linebacker cores in the game. Obviously, the Bay, if they had a healthy Fred Warner, would be up there, but it is what it is. But yeah, I'm just looking at this game, and once again, when it comes to when you absolute Jordan Love, like I said, he can throw for 350, 3 tuds against one of the worst secondaries in the league in the Pittsburgh Steelers. But when you absolutely had to have it, could you get a yard? Could you get a touchdown? Could you get any points? No. End of the first half, horrible. And once again, shout out to Kobe Dean. He made the play. But bro, like, what are you doing? Like, I get, like, maybe you're trying to save the play. We saw Baker try to do that against New England on the final possession on Sunday. But bro, what are you doing? Like, it's like he looked like Tua out there last night for the majority of the game. And for people that are like, this game falls on Matt LaFleur in any type of way, bro, the play calling was not the issue yesterday for Green Bay. Like I'm saying the play calling was not the issue. Even though we know Matt LaFleur has had some of those issues in the past, there were multiple times, especially early in the game, Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson were wide open in the Eagles zone coverage. And we know in man coverage, Quinion had like 3 PBUs. DeJean struggled because Christian Watson, he's not. I want to be clear. He's not like one of these top 10 receivers or anything. Christian Watson, he's just big. And DeJean, you're a bit smaller guy. I think DeJean got 2 PIs, 2 holdings on Watson, in particular. And that's just Watson is a bigger dude. And we saw the only time I've seen Quinion Mitchell struggle in his early career so far is when he played Cortland Sutton, who, when Cortland Sutton gets the ball consistently, Cortland Sutton is in that top 10 wide receiver conversation. But we know the Broncos offense has been pretty inconsistent this year. But when Cortland Sutton gets the ball, he's one of those dudes. He's pretty much the size of A.J. Brown. So, and you guys know what A.J. Brown looks like when he gets it going, unstoppable. Christian Watson is a lesser version of those guys. But nevertheless, I still think Eagles secondary did a pretty good job. But yeah, early on, Packers receivers wide open. Jordan Love not even looking their way, taking sacks, horrible sacks, turning the ball over. Like there needs to we need to stop after 11 game stretches. Oh, he looked good in one game. He's top 5. Um, Mike Tannenbaum, he's the best quarterback in the NFC. We got to stop. We have to accept Jordan Love. And I get like, hey, Matt LaFleur, like you're developing this guy. Offense is your thing. It's his 4th year. All that good stuff. But bro, some of that stuff is not on Matt. Like the throw to Christian Watson late, where Makuba almost had the pick. DeJean was in coverage, and he had pretty much almost a full step on DeJean. Bro, you gotta lead the ball to the sideline. You gotta throw him out. You can't throw it straight down the field. Makuba, he was playing defense. Christian Watson played defense twice. One on that deep ball late where Makuba it hit it if it wasn't 10 degrees and Makuba had gotten his head up a second earlier, that's a pick. Game is over. If the other one, Jordan Love, another deep ball, where Quinion was on Christian Watson turned into a DB. Like Quinion is about to make the catch, and Christian Watson has to like play defense, knock that John out. But that's 2 picks that Christian Watson saved from Jordan Love. Cause bro, you gotta lead the receiver. You can't throw it in the middle on the first one, cause the safety's right there. Different scenario, he probably picks it. The other one, if Christian Watson isn't 6'5", that one's also picked as well. So you gotta take those throws into account. Obviously the Green Bay's offense, and I know they were missing guys. I'm not gonna be oblivious. Obviously, Tucker Kraft, he's been playing like a top 3 tight end, but I mean, I know other guys in the league that have been missing players, and they're still. If Jordan Love is what people say he is, then who's around him shouldn't matter. We've seen Mahomes, we've seen Josh Allen, we've seen Jalen Hurts, we've seen Matthew, we've seen other players make it work. So we're not. That's not an excuse. And once again, we all know like Jordan Love isn't on that tier. But for people who are trying to push like Mike Tannenbaums of this world, like people trying to push like Jordan Love is top this 3, like bro, he's not it. Um, for your defense, every time this thing like the Green Bay Packers are 1-3 this year when the defense gives up 16 points or less. The rest of the NFL is 65-2. It's things like this where and if I'm Quay Walker, if I'm Micah Parsons, if I'm Devontae Wyatt, if I'm Xavier McKinney, Baron Sorrell, Karen Valentine, even Karen like if I'm any of the Green Bay Packers defense, I'm like, bro, we gave up 10 points. And you can only get one touchdown late 4th quarter. Bro. And there's and Green Bay, they're fighting for the playoffs right now. Chicago, shout out Chicago real quick. Shout out Caleb Williams, number 1 in that division right now. It's not looking good. Because the Eagles Sunday night. We about to give Detroit that work. I'm on Raw. We coming. And we'll break down that game a bit later in the week. But Detroit, they lose that game. You're 6-4. Chicago wins this week. Next week, they're 7-3. I mean, it's not looking great for the NFC North, who we thought. And Caleb Williams, hot take here. Caleb Williams could very well end up being the best quarterback in the NFC North by the end of the season. I'm looking at JJ McCarthy, who he's played like I think in like 3 starts, hasn't looked that good. I'm looking at Jared Goff, who the ultimate game manager needs everything perfect around him to succeed. And when he doesn't have that around him, we've seen time and time again, even when he has had all that stuff around him, we've seen time and time again, big moments, big games, he's come up short. And then last but not least, the one and only Mr. Roller Coaster, Jordan Love, who one game will throw crazy against a horrible defense. Then when the real big boys come, he's nowhere to be seen, as we saw again last night. Caleb Williams, he's had multiple clutch come from behind wins. He's got Ben Johnson. He's got that defense. He's got that receiving core. He's balling out. The running game, Swift, Manungai, they're looking good. Caleb Williams could easily come out of this season being the best quarterback in the NFC North, as I believe he already has the most raw talent of any quarterback in that division out of USC. But that's just my take. We'll see how the next 8 weeks pan out, but they still got 2 against Green Bay. I think that's more concerning for Green Bay as it is for Chicago, because the way Green Bay look and Green Bay's defense once again is legit. Um, we've seen them allow minimal points multiple times, as we've seen, even though they're 1-3 in those games somehow, some way. If your quarterback is that guy, you should be winning those games. I know another guy in Philadelphia that's won all of those games, but that's not my business. I don't even know why I brought that up. But I want to take this segue real quick. The offense now Hurts, once again, we knew this was going to be a defensive battle. And we all know when it comes down to it, our guy is not, most of the time, he's not going to put the ball in harm's way when it matters most. The once again, unfortunate turn, he lands on the defender. Edrin Cooper, alert. He knocked the ball out. There's some defenders that would have thought the play was over. But Edrin Cooper, he was on it, knocked it out. Green Bay gets the turnover late in the first quarter. And then it was just a defensive battle. Do I think the play calling could have been slightly better? Maybe. For the majority of the game, maybe. Maybe they could have done a better job, but if you look at what Green Bay was doing, we are not going to let A.J. Brown beat us. Every single time I looked up, it's Carrington, it's Kerry Valentine, it's Keyshawn Nixon, 10 yards back, safety ready to help bracket on A.J. Brown. I look over, linebackers, Evan Williams, Quay Walker, just hounding on Dallas Goedert. He balled out too, 4 catches. What was let's see him, 443. He had a nice game, but and then also, and we're looking at on the other side, Devonta Smith. Once again, whoever corner was on him, 10 yards back. The Green Bay Packers played very minimal man coverage last night, and when they did, we saw what happened. Obviously, with that Devontae Tud. And I want to go back to that play. A.J. Brown is the reason. Is A.J. Brown is one of the biggest reasons for last night's win. Devontae touchdown. A.J. He's double teamed. He attracts the safety, runs that dig. McKinney gets baited. McKinney comes down, corner on A.J. Devontae Smith, one-on-one with Evan Williams. Tud, Jalen Hurts clutch. He made the throw. Devontae made the catch. Play before that, Saquon run. Now, I know a guy in Minnesota whose hands would have been already thrown up in the air. Why am I not getting the ball and doing all this? I know a guy in Minnesota that would have done that. But my guy, 11, who loves his team, made the key block, allowed Saquon to spring for 20 extra yards to set up that Devontae touchdown. A.J. Brown is the ultimate team player. You can't tell us any different. And 2 receptions for 13 yards. Yeah, that's not great. But hey, on the other side, Dontavian Wicks, he got a couple lucky grabs on Quinion, but he hit 4 for 38. Christian Watson at 2 for 45. Josh Jacobs 5 for 33. Musgrave 3-2. Like they didn't really do a whole lot either. Once again, defensive battle. No one was going off. Devonta had 4 for 69. Goddard 4 for 43. Like no one went off. This wasn't a Seattle versus Arizona where it's 35-0 end of the mid second quarter. That wasn't gonna happen. But nevertheless, they came out, managed to go on with a victory. See, that's the thing. When it mattered most, when you absolutely needed a yard, you absolutely needed a stop. Who made the play? It was one Jaelan Phillips. It was Jalen Hurts. It was Devonta Smith. It was Jalen Hunt. When you absolutely needed the play. And once again, big moment. Jordan Love did not show up. The roller coaster straight down at the bottom. That was Jordan Love this game. He did not look good. 2 fumbles, 1 lost. And it's just, and for all the people, once again, real quick, last thing we'll say here, for all the people that said, Green Bay this and we're going to the Super Bowl and I'll take Seattle, LA, Detroit right now over Philly, keep coming. Keep coming because we like that. We feed off of that. Hopefully, Lane Johnson, he'll be good. We all know that's one of the toughest guys on this team. Hopefully, Cam Jurgens, he'll get right. Quinion, he went out for a bit, came back in. We hope the rehab will be good. Jair Alexander, Jacorian Bennett, hopefully back on Sunday for a big game. They'll try to call it this one, probably game of the year. Home against Detroit at the Link Sunday night. If it was in Detroit, I most certainly would have gone to the game. But, unfortunately, fortunately, it's in Philly. That crowd's going to be ruckus. I'm on Raw. Watch out, bro. Your day is coming. If Jamar Chase gets locked up, what do you think is going to happen to you, Turkey? But hey, bro, Eagles get that victory. Defense stood on their heads. Shout out BG, Kobe Dean, Jalen Phillips, Jalen Hunt, Jalen Carter, 2 passes blocked, multiple pressures on Jordan Love. Hey, it's your boy, Philly Talk with PA. You can always keep it a stack. Always keep it a buck over here, man. I'm out.